10 jours après le début de la guerre meurtrière qui fait rage entre Israël et la Palestine, de nombreuses questions demeurent. Que va faire l'exécutif israélien? Que va-t-il se passer à Gaza? Qu'adviendra-t-il des otages? Nous avons interrogé le diplomate israélien Alon Pinkas, ancien conseiller politique de Shimon Peres, l'ex-chef d'État travailliste en Israël et artisan des accords d'Oslo pour la paix entre Israël et la Palestine. Alon Pinkas publie régulièrement des articles d'analyse dans les colonnes d'Haaretz, quotidien de référence en Israël. Pour lui, la colère qui gronde contre le Premier ministre israélien Benjamin Netanyahu est plus que légitime.
There's an anger at Mr. Netanyahu that has accumulated even before the war because of his anti-democratic constitutional coup d'etat. On top of which he's standing trial on 3 separate indictments for corruption, bribery, and obstruction of justice. So the anger and the dissatisfaction and the fatigue with him existed. Then came Saturday, October 7th, and so the anger became very specific as more and more details came out about the military's lack of preparedness. Add to this the first several days of the war when the scale and the magnitude of what had happened emerged, and his government's inability and incompetence in dealing with the people in what you called correctly the Gaza envelope, meaning all the areas adjacent to the Gaza-Israel border. I mean, I called for his resignation on day one. I thought he's incapable and should not be trusted to deal with this. I do think that in the next few weeks, the anger is going to surface high. And we assume there are 150 hostages. So all of this will add up to a mountain of dissatisfaction and resentment toward Mr. Netanyahu.
À propos des otages, l'un des points d'interrogation majeurs dans ce conflit, Alon Pinkas est loin d'être optimiste.
If there is a large-scale ground operation with a political end to bring down Hamas, then you have to assume that you're not going to free the hostages, that they will be executed and that Hamas will claim that they were killed in Israeli Air Force attacks and so on. If there's a decision for a limited ground operation, then parallel to that, there may be negotiations about the hostages. In the past, the Germans played a role in this. The Qataris did too, but the Qataris are also complicit in building Hamas and funding this attack. You'll use whomever is going to bring you back babies and grandmothers who've been or are being held captive or taken hostage. But I don't think there's a lot of trust in the Qataris' goodwill. It's not clear to me what that strategy is going to be. You've heard totally contradictory statements from government spokespeople. You know, if there's a ground operation or an ongoing aerial bombardment, you have to assume that even if they are held underground, the hostages for negotiating purposes, they may not survive this. And this is a horrible thing to say, but, you know, it is what it is.
L'armée israélienne se prépare à déclencher son offensive terrestre sur la bande de Gaza et demande aux civils de se déplacer vers le sud du territoire. À cela s'ajoutent les conséquences du siège complet de Gaza qui font craindre une crise humanitaire majeure.
It's unavoidable. Gaza is so dense and so poor and so overpopulated and lacks so much electrical and water infrastructure and medical infrastructure that almost anything that happens in Gaza is almost bound to create some kind of a humanitarian crisis. Now, as time goes by and Israel retaliates justifiably, you will see these pictures emanate from Gaza, and the more pictures, the more footage, the more reporting, the more sympathetic the world public opinion is going to shift on the Palestinians. They'll say, it's okay that you obliterate and eradicate Hamas, but why are you inflicting so much pain and damages and injury on so many people? Well, it's not like the Hamas is on top of a mountain and Gaza is at the bottom. They are embedded and enmeshed inside the population. They shield themselves behind the population. Their so-called leaders have fled. I do think, however, and I saw some signs already this morning, that Israel is trying to ease the crisis, opening up the water, allowing for medical aid to move into Gaza. In conjunction with the Egyptians. I see that, but that's not going to prevent a humanitarian crisis in the next few days.
De nombreuses voix s'élèvent toutefois pour appeler les autorités israéliennes, tout comme les groupes armés palestiniens, à respecter le droit international et à protéger la population civile. L'ONG Amnesty International écrit par exemple « Israël doit se conformer aux principes du droit international, notamment les principes de proportionnalité et de distinction, et ne doit pas imposer de sanctions collectives, se livrer à des représailles, ni déplacer des populations. » Or, selon l'Agence de l'ONU pour les réfugiés palestiniens, 1 million de personnes ont déjà dû quitter leur foyer ces derniers jours, soit près de la moitié de la population de l'enclave. À toutes ces craintes s'ajoute aussi celle d'une escalade du conflit à l'échelle régionale, avec l'implication d'autres acteurs.
Possible, yes. The question is, will it be deliberate or will it be a result of miscalculation? I mean, Hezbollah has already taken responsibility for 36 rockets being shot from Lebanon. This is not yet a major theater of operations. And I doubt that Hezbollah would want to do this without Iranian backing. And the US said it's going to deter them. On the other hand, everyone who says, well, Hezbollah is deterred are the same idiots who said that Hamas is deterred. So could it escalate? Yes. Will it escalate? I don't know. On the face of it, no one has a vested interest in doing so because everyone has too much to lose. But many times people make mistakes and miscalculations. And before you know it, you have a war.